Hey, how's it going everyone? Today we're going to talk about Palworld. The player base is continuing to decrease, but there is a good reason for this, and a lot of the players out here have been considering this the worst news yet, but in reality it's not, and I'm going to clear that up in today's video. Not only am I going to be going over that information specifically, but we're also going to be talking about what exactly the Palworld's Discord community manager had to say in response to the different versions of Steam and Xbox, as well as we're going to take a look at crossplay information. So there's a lot to go over. If you have frequently stopped by the channel and you're not subscribed yet, do that now. Subscribe, turn those notifications on, and let's go ahead and dive right into this. Let's begin by discussing the player drop, because I know some of you have noticed this either from an article or maybe you have seen a comment like this in my video where someone's like, hey, the game is dead. Well, my response to that is no, it's absolutely not dead. The game is still running perfectly fine. Sure, there's bugs, it's early access, and there's still a lot of players that are currently online playing the game. Now, is it true that the Palworld player base numbers are decreasing? Yes, it absolutely is true. But there is a good reason for this. And there is some bad news to it, and we'll go over that as well, but let's start off with the good news. When it comes down to Palworld, and especially that the game is in early access, a lot of you out here have already just done everything that you possibly can do in Palworld. So it only makes sense that a good portion of the player base has dropped because of that reason let alone. Most of you have just done everything, and some of you are just addicted to the game and you're playing it every day continuously, either on, dedicated servers or single player. Yet there is some bad news when it comes down to the sudden decrease in players. Currently, as of right now, there has been an increase of hackers and cheaters online, and you might be wondering what's the difference between a hacker/cheater and a glitcher. The difference as of right now is that a cheater can actually remove all of your progress on your account online on a dedicated server. Meanwhile, on the other hand, there are glitchers out here that are trying to benefit off of a glitch, and they are not necessarily trying to ruin a player's experience. Sure, don't get me wrong, there has been some glitches in the past for different games that have ruined a player's experience. In this situation, it's completely different. Because again, as of right now, there are players out here that can hack and remove your progress completely so that you're left at level 1 again. I've had it happen to me, so when it comes down to this, it's completely understandable why some have left, because they're just upset with the fact that there's nothing being done, but there actually is, and we'll get into that much later on in the video. The reason why I brought this up, specifically the good and bad news, is because just recently, about 2-3 days ago, a community manager over on the Palworld's official Discord had something to say about this. What we can see right here is a community manager by the name of Bucky, and you can see it says Palworld and Craftopia with the Palworld icon as well on the right side. This is what Bucky had to say in response to the sudden drop. Quote, with Palworld quickly approaching the 1 month mark, it's interesting to look back at my own thoughts for launch. In May of 2023, I was convinced that Palworld could break the 50,000 player mark. Anything above that seemed unobtainable though, and I certainly never expected it to reach into the millions. It has taken years to get to this point, and Palworld only really begins from here. Everyone is working hard to fix the issues and prepare new content and pals. Some of you may have had your fun over the last 3 weeks and found yourself putting this game down. That is fine. This emerging Palworld has lost X percentage of its player base. Discourse is lazy, but it's probably also a good time to step in and reassure those of you capable of reading past a headline that it is fine to take breaks from games. You don't need to feel bad about that. Palworld, like many games before it, isn't in a position to pump out massive amounts of new content on a weekly basis. New content will come, and it's going to be awesome. But these things take a little bit of time. There are so many amazing games out there to play, you don't need to feel guilty about hopping from game to game. If you are still playing Palworld, we love you. If you're no longer playing Palworld, we still love you, and we hope you'll come back for round 2 when you're ready. Play lots of games, try different genres, and frequently flick through indie libraries to find hidden gems. End quote. And right there, that was a post created by Bucky. And he's not wrong with the whole idea of playing different games and trying out different stuff. There is nothing wrong with that, especially if you have pretty much done everything in Palworld. Yet it's also good to see that he's reminding you that there's not going to be weekly updates or weekly content, right? It's not like Destiny, it's not like some of these other AAA games or whatever you want to call them. It's not like that. The fact is, Palworld has a limited amount of developers. They have a small team. I'm pretty sure it's relatively small. And so, with that being said, I think it's definitely going to take some time. I can see that. The positives that you can actually take away from this is that they are focused on the bugs, they're focused on the issues, and they're also really tuned in on creating some awesome pals and technology and all that good stuff that you did see on the roadmap. Now, players are also kind of upset still, even though they have read this, which to me it doesn't make sense. But a lot of them are upset because of the recent cheaters and hackers. I do have some information to share on that, as I mentioned earlier. What I'm about to go over has been mentioned in a previous video. The only reason why I'm bringing it up now is because the previous video was for glitches only, but I decided to update you guys on that video as well. Anyways, with that being said, let's go ahead and read this post right here, which was made over there on the official Palworld Discord. What you can see at the top is network developer, and it says this right here. Regarding official service access issues and future countermeasures against cheating. Currently, some players are unable to connect to official servers due to cheating and the influence of fraudulent activities. We have confirmed that some players are unable to play the game properly. As a company, we do not tolerate any fraudulent activity or cheating, and we are working on measures to deal with it strictly and as a priority. First of all, we plan to release a player list function for servers and an update at the end of February. Through this, we will strengthen the identification of players who engage in cheating and the suspension of their use by the development team. Following this, we plan to introduce an external anti-cheat solution to take measures against particularly frequent fraudulent activities and cheating. Please note, in any case of community servers, single player and co-op, the use of this function is optional. In addition to the above measures, we will continue to take thorough measures against further cheating and fraudulent activities. Although the development team is dealing with each issue on a daily basis and taking measures, there are so many cases where we are not able to keep up, and we apologize for any inconvenience this may cause. Our entire team is working hard to get everyone back to a state where they can enjoy the game comfortably and with the peace of mind as soon as possible. And as you can tell right there, they are working heavy on just reducing the cheaters and hackers. The good news is that we can expect an update towards the end of February this month, which I'm totally excited for. I cannot wait to update you guys on that information. And if you're not subscribed, do that now. Turn those notifications on, because when that video does go public, you will be notified right away. And last but not least, let's talk about crossplay, the different versions between Steam and Xbox Game Pass version. What's the deal with all this? We're going to find out right now. This post right here was created by Bucky over on the official Palworld Discord, and it says this right here. I'll reflect this more clearly in a future announcement, but just to clarify what seems to be a common misconception. The versions of the game are not the same between Steam and Xbox. That is to say, Steam version 1.2 and Xbox version 1.2 are not the same thing. There seems to be some confusion that Steam and Xbox are missing features. That isn't entirely true. Some features may slightly different or have different values, but other issues like missing exit game button, etc. are not a result of an older build. These are separate issues. In fact, Steam and Xbox will likely never have identical version numbers until the games are brought to be cross-play compatible, because at that point, they will be the same game internally. Again, this doesn't mean Xbox is necessarily behind or anything. They are just fundamentally two different versions of the game, because the architecture on Xbox is different. Xbox version of 1.2 may not be the same as Steam 1.2, and vice versa. Of course, the goal is to bring them to the exact same place, but that won't be achievable until crossplay is fully compatible. I hope that makes sense. Might be a bit confusing, sorry. Edit it for clarity. And that's pretty much it with what Bucky had to say. Now, this post right here was created 1 month ago in January. Now we're in February, and Bucky had more things to say about crossplay. In this post right here, Bucky says, crossplay between Steam and Xbox is planned. Yes, the team is working on it. That's all we really have to say about it at the moment, though. So really, there's nothing that Bucky can say about crossplay, or that he's going to give us more information on it. But we do know that Xbox is working with Pocket Pair to develop some things and, to make the servers a lot better. I made a post on it specifically. I do not want to get too much into it. I'm just trying to make this video as short as possible. I try to anyways. But as you can tell right there, that is the information being said about crossplay specifically. And right here, this is the end of the video, but I do want to give my final thoughts. I think Palworld is heading in the right direction. The game is definitely not dead, and it probably will not be because of all the cool things that they do plan on adding to the game. On top of that, if you did leave because of the cheaters and hackers, if that's the case, then you're going to enjoy the next update because it's going to reduce that quite a lot. So there's a lot to look forward to when it comes down to this next update as well. Hope you guys have enjoyed the videos. If you have any comments or questions from the previous videos, comment down below. With that being said, if you'd like to, you can also join the Discord, follow me on Twitter, all that other good stuff there. Thank you guys so much for the support, and I'll see you all in the next video.